Hey everyone, welcome to the Game Week 2 team selection video. It was an exciting Game Week 1, a lot of big scores, but now we're on to Game Week 2 after having to make some decisions and obviously not necessarily having unlimited free transfers unless we've already used our wild card, which hopefully we haven't at this point. I did set up a little poll seeing what most people were thinking about doing this week. Majority of them rolling the transfer, a couple of them making one, and then very few taking a hit or using a wild card this week. And I really hope you wouldn't have to use your one wild card you get all season this upcoming week. Obviously, if just whereas really unlucky picking the starting lineups for teams and you just got to get a bunch of players out, then fair enough, you got to do it. But hopefully your team is good enough to get away with just maximum one transfer this week. Me personally, I am planning on rolling the transfer. I always try to roll into game week 2. Ideally, you're thinking as you set up your team well enough for game week 1 with unlimited free transfers that you could get away with at least rolling for one game week. I do have a couple players that probably won't see the field based off of Ebosele getting injured in the Udinese game. His injury is not updated, but if you have him, don't expect him to be playing. And then Juric, who didn't start last game. And then Bonazzoli scored the goal and Juric has got waived off. So I'm assuming that Bonazzoli would have the position. I know one goal doesn't necessarily give you a starting position, but when something's up in the air, that can be what gives the coach the incentive to give you a shot. I have the 4-4-2 formation this week, which I didn't have last week. Right now we have Immobile with the captain's armband up front facing Genoa. I am taking Immobile for captain over Osimhen. It is definitely a bit of a risk. Some people might be disagreeing with this, which is absolutely fair. Just Genoa got manhandled pretty good by Fiorentina last week. Lazio, I would say, is a better side, and Immobile, I would say, is a better striker than Enzola was. Obviously, Enzola's up and coming. But it's definitely going to be a risk against people that are going to captain Osimhen. Worst case, I'm still going to get half the points people that captain Osimhen will get, but that's where my captaincy lies right now. I just find, well, yes, it kind of seems that Osimhen is good for a goal every match as well. Immobile has been like that for several years, whereas Osimhen for maybe the last year or so has. So again, completely support anyone that's saying this is a terrible idea. Definitely could be, but I do think that just the fixture itself with two good attackers, Lazio is going to want to come out and make up for completely bottling it against Lecce. Napoli, obviously, they have a win to build off of. We'll see what happens there. In the midfield, we're going with Zielinski at Leao, Nico Gonzalez, and coming in this week is Florian Thauvin. Didn't play him game week 1 facing Juve. That was a tough matchup. Facing Salernitana, a bit of a better chance that they're going to be scoring some goals. Nico Gonzalez did great game week 1. And against Lecce now, I feel like he could do just as good. Rafael Leao, unfortunate not to get amongst the attacking returns in their 2-0 win. Giroud kind of stole the show along with Pulisic. Hopefully he can get in there, but he is a player that in the future I might end up dropping because it seems now we have only gone through one game week, but a lot of the top midfielders are anywhere kind of from 5 to 8 right now, Mill. And I feel like I could fit in more of them and use this money elsewhere, whether I wanted to bump up Immobile to a Lautaro Martinez, as those are all the people that are at the top right now, as the people that have Osimhen and Lautaro. So I might downgrade Leao at some point, but he'll definitely stay on my team for this week. And Zielinski didn't do anything too promising last match. He's good for goals sometimes, so hopefully it comes against the Swallow. But I think it's a relatively safe pick, but I'm not necessarily expecting amazing things out of that. In the defense, I have the exact same defense that I played last week: Danilo, Spinazzola, DeMarco, and Calabria. Hopefully more attacking returns amongst them. Danilo, I believe, was the only one that got the double clean sheet. DeMarco and Calabria both Milan teams did get clean sheets, but they both got subbed out. So this kind of brought up into question what I was explaining in the review video. What do you go for? What's more important? Players that are going to be attacking, but potentially get subbed off based on their higher workload going forward, or players that may not get those attacking returns but play the 90 minutes. And I've talked about this with a couple different people. I think the obvious answer is find one that's going to do both. And that's generally going to be your Danilo is probably one, even though he didn't return last time. Di Lorenzo is the obvious one. And one that maybe you could have seen beforehand, but really shined was Barahi from last game. I played the full 90 minutes and scored a goal and an assist, or I forget if he got two. I forget exactly what the returns there were, because I didn't have them, but he is definitely one to be looking at as well. And he's, I guess, slightly cheaper option than obviously someone like Di Lorenzo or Theo Hernandez or something like that. So definitely a player that's on my radar if I'm moving the defense. I am still pretty happy with my defense. Hopefully they don't always get subbed mid-game, and hopefully they're actually getting attacking returns. DeMarco and Calabria did not get any attacking returns to kind of sweeten that score. So they kind of just got the one clean sheet out of two. And obviously, I'm going to keep Spinazzola with the fixtures that Roma has right now. That's my starting 11. Tarati, if you have him as your starting keeper, I believe he is suspended right now for one match. I don't exactly know what happened. I know it has to do something about what he said. But definitely Sommer is my keeper this week, and it would be anyway. Expect Ibosele to be injured. Strafezza, probably a good. Maybe I'll make him my first bench option. And Jurch, my second one. And I'll confirm that live for you. Again, obviously, if I have any changes to my team, I will post it on my Twitter. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. With this, I will give you the top 5 that I did last week. Players, I think some of them are obvious top players to have in the squad right now. Osimhen and Lautaro definitely need to be in there. They're the 2 top players right now. Everyone that's doing well has them, basically. The next one, though, had a big game, and until they either sign someone new or Tammy Abraham gets better, I'd say Belotti is a really good shout right now, especially for his price point at 7 mil. I'd say if you have the money to transfer to someone like him and you want to downgrade one of the top guys, Belotti is a great option to go down to. Giroud could be as well. I'd like to see just that consistent form for someone at his age a little longer. But definitely, if he's got that starting Milan spot locked up, almost as good. Just Belotti is going to save you 1.6 mil, and he looked good as well. So that's Osimhen, Lautaro, Belotti. The next one I'm going to pick is a Juve guy. Chiesa was playing as more of a striker role rather than a winger role last game, and he did very well. And he's listed as a midfielder, so midfielder getting you that kind of points and that same production kind of as someone like Vlahovic. Or any other striker with those extra points, I think could be worth trying to get Chiesa into your team. And finally, the last one is going to be Barahi. I think just the 90 minutes and the attacking, that could be a really great option as well. So overall, top 5 for this week is Osimhen, Lautaro Martinez, Belotti, Chiesa, and Barahi. Some other players kind of to keep in mind, maybe Kandreva. He did extremely well, got a brace. I'm not going to get him into my team just yet. Obviously, we're going to have some stuff to see with a second game week just for consistency and not making that transfer. I'll have more flexibility next week. Also, Enzola, 6 mil striker for Fiorentina as the starting spot right now, and he did extremely well in Spezia last year. So another player to look out for as well. I'm going to leave the video there, though. Please, any other questions you may have, put in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're almost at 400 subscribers, miraculously enough. So let's try to get to that mark and enjoy game week 2. Feel free to communicate. Take care.